Welcome to Face Palm Sunday. But before we begin, Audible.com is a company hosted by Amazon that hosts thousands upon thousands of audiobooks for your listening entertainment and enjoyment. Recently, I've been listening to Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. If you use my vanity URL link down below, audible.com/MrRepzion, you will get a 1-month free trial for Audible.com, along with a free audiobook of your choosing.
Hey everyone, you're here with the Vigilant Christian Mario, and you're here for a video today addressed to MrRepzion.
One of my subscribers sent me your video, or else I probably wouldn't have saw it, and here I am, MrRepzion, making a video response to your video that you made to me.
I was watching his video, Evangelical Atheism. I'll leave the link for you to check this video out in the description section. I think it's an excellent video, and he touches on some great points. I'm not really going to talk about too much stuff regarding this video, but there's something he said in there I wanted to address. But maybe I'll talk about this video specifically in another video addressed to him, because it's actually really good. He makes some strong points that there is this new form of atheist out there that basically just evangelizes atheism and believes atheism to be the truth, and they do the very same thing that they say they don't like about Christians, because to a Christian, in our belief system, we believe that others are perishing if they're not saved by Jesus. So what that means is that we believe you're going to burn in hell for eternity. So ultimately what we're trying to do when we proselytize is save your soul. So I know it can be annoying and this and that, and you might not like it, but ultimately you need to tolerate and accept and love us because we're just trying to save your soul.
Holy crap, Muffin. So we're supposed to respect you and love you and accept you because deep down you're trying to save our soul. Well, one, I don't believe souls exist. Secondly, that's bullshit. I say it's bullshit because I don't need to love, I don't need to accept you, and I don't need to respect you for when you proselytize. Here's the thing, I don't have that big of a problem with proselytization from Christians at all, unless it's done in a forceful manner that degrades me or someone else for who they are. What I mean by this is most proselytization that I see, street preachers, for example, Ray Comfort, or any type of street preacher for the most part, always seem to go down the same path of condemning people for things that otherwise wouldn't be sinful. For example, your Bible strictly condemns homosexuality. And I've seen before Ray Comfort, and I'm not comparing you to Ray Comfort here, but I'm using him as an example. Ray Comfort shames people for being gay publicly on the streets in California. And when people proselytize, and they condemn someone for natural things, whether it be premarital sex, having sex before marriage, saying the Lord's name in vain. Jesus Christ! I mean, these types of things, I see no problem with. And when you attempt to proselytize to us, force try to save our soul, as you put it, by condemning us for things that we don't see as wrong or sinful, you're not going to make a dent in anyone's mind. You're not going to do anything good for the kingdom of Jesus Christ if you really condemn people through evangelizing by condemning them. And I have never seen, even in my old Baptist church, which was a fucked up church to begin with, and I admit that it had some weird doctrines, it was messed up, it had a lot of false things within that church. The way that church stressed evangelism was totally just fucked up. If someone is an atheist or someone's a skeptic and they ask you as a Christian, hey, why do you believe what you believe? That's awesome. Tell them what you believe. But for you to go on the streets and, hand out little tracts and say, hey, you're wearing a low-cut top. That's cleavage. That would cause a man to lust. And if that guy lusts after you, a Christian, he's in sin. That's a normal doctrine, is that men are not supposed to lust after a woman unless they are married with them. They're not supposed to look at a woman in any sort of sexual thinking or manner. That's what I was taught, and that is a very big doctrine over a lot of different denominations, not just including Baptists, is that you're not supposed to lust after women, because I was taught that woman may be someone else's wife down the line, and you wouldn't want to do that because she's special to that one individual in the future or whatever. Just stupid shit like that. So no, I don't need to respect you. I'm not going to respect you. I don't need to accept you. I don't need to love you because you want to save my soul. I'd be interested in hearing you prove that souls exist. I've actually never had that discussion before.
So to get mad at a Christian for trying to save your soul is an absolute insanity. It's logical insanity.
No, what's a logical insanity is the fact that a loving, merciful God who created us has doomed us from the beginning upon creation. This goes back, and I've mentioned this in my previous videos before, with predestination and understanding God knew all these things. He had all these omnipotence, omnibenevolence. He has all these, biblical godlike attributes, yet he couldn't stop Adam and Eve from doing and condemning themselves for all eternity. Then every single off-born person, including myself, is born into a sinful world, and we will automatically go to hell if we never hear the gospel. And even if we do hear the gospel and don't accept it, we're still going to burn eternity in hell. There's so many theological problems, which is something that I loved, which was biblical hermeneutics back when I was a Christian. I loved studying biblical hermeneutics. I used to have books by Josh McDowell, Christian apologetics. I'm familiar with these tactics.
Makes no sense. But he's noticing that atheists are doing the very same thing. They're being very aggressive in their proselytizing of atheism, but yet that doesn't really matter. I mean, atheists don't believe that there's any consequences at the end of life. So really to evangelize something like atheism doesn't make any sense. It's not like they're doing it to save souls. They're just doing it, I don't even know why.
Here's the thing about this, is that I don't mind if an atheist, myself included, talks about atheism. I never try to come across as preachy with atheism. There's a lot of people who I know who do. But the main thing that I have with atheism is primarily atheism plus. I hate atheism plus, and that's what I was talking about in evangelical atheism, was atheism plus, which is a disgusting, dogmatic thing that's been started that is all about dismissing someone simply because they believe in God. They don't even need to be religious, and if you believe in God, well, you're a fucking moron, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're not worth talking to. It doesn't seek to understand religion from a sociological standpoint. Atheism plus is what I was talking about, not all atheists in general, because I know quite a lot of atheists who don't appear evangelical with their atheism. It's primarily in the area of atheism plus, which I hate and disdain.
Ultimately, what I wanted to talk about in this video here today is what was mentioned in the evangelical atheism video. He mentioned that he doesn't know what truth is. He has no clue. He's never searched out truth. So I wanted to make a video here to point out how, just based on that fact alone, MrRepzion, unfortunately, is not an individual who has any type of authority or understanding about God. So he wouldn't be able to talk about things like God.
So let me ask you this question. Who has the authority to discuss God? Theology. Are you saying that people who are not Christians or who don't adhere to the Bible are not able to discuss God on a theological level? Bullshit. That's dumb. No. I used to be a Christian. I used to take my faith seriously, and although my church was fucked up, I knew that a lot of the things that my church taught were not biblical whatsoever. I knew that thing. And even then, I sought God. I wanted a relationship with Jesus Christ. I would get on my knees and I would pray. It wasn't selfish prayers either. It was prayers designated to help me get through school, and I still failed my classes. Still stuff happened in the church which got me to the point where I am today, where I shun all religion for the most part and want nothing to do with it ever again, because what happened to me within the church and the environment and the people that I associate with, it was just a damaging, toxic environment. So who gives you the authority, Mario, since that is your name, to talk about God? What gives you the authority to discuss God? If I don't have the authority, what gives you the authority? Is it because you're a Christian?
Because he's never searched out for God. Now, in the Bible, it actually says that Jesus is the truth. The question that MrRepzion asked himself in this video was actually asked by Pontius Pilate when he was about to crucify Jesus. He asked Jesus himself, what is veritas? What is the truth? And this is one of the most deep philosophical questions a human being can ever ask themselves. And MrRepzion, I would just encourage you to pursue that. If you've never set out in your life to discover what ultimate truth, what absolute truth is, I strongly, strongly encourage you to do that. I did it myself when I was young. I started to look at the world when I was 16 or 17 years old. I wasn't Christian. In fact, I wasn't Christian up until 4 years ago. So for the most of my life, I just wasn't Christian at all. But I knew something was different about the world. I knew that life had meaning, it had purpose, and that there's something deeper going on that I wasn't seeing.
So in other words, what you're saying is the common Christian thing is that your life had meaning, it had worth, you had a purpose for your life because you found God. Well, let me tell you something. Atheists can have a meaningful life and can be looking forward for things in the future without believing in a deity, without believing in a God. This is the most... I hate this when people say this. Well, you're an atheist, so your life must not have any meaning. My life has meaning. My meaning to my life is to help people through my YouTube videos. That's what I try to do in a lot of my content. Not all, but a good portion of my content is about helping and educating people on things that need to be helped and educated on. And I've done that, especially my videos on mental health and depression and self-harm. You know, those are things that have helped a lot of people. And that's my meaning in life, is to help people who are less fortunate than me, people who may not have certain knowledge on certain subjects, or growing up in a religious household, or being damaged because of that toxic environment. So when they come out of that religious household, they don't know what to believe anymore. I've helped people that way. I get hundreds of emails per day of people's stories telling me this shit. And here you are dismissing that by saying that, well, you don't say it directly, but indirectly you just say, you know, my life has meaning. In other words, I don't have a meaningful life because I'm an atheist. And that's insulting, not to me, but to a lot of other people. That's not true. I have value and I have worth, and I don't need Jesus to be part of my life in order to have that.
So I began to search these things out. I looked at the great philosophers and Plato and Socrates and their understanding of what truth is. And I got into Eastern religion and mysticism and yoga and all sorts of different viewpoints on what truth is. Because this is ultimately, I believe, life's most important question, MrRepzion, is what is truth? And it kind of saddens me to hear that you've never even pursued that.
Mario, it's me, Mario. Sorry, I just had to do that once. I have pursued truth. Do I still know what truth is? And as you say in this video, it's a complicated philosophical question. The answer to truth isn't just in my face. It isn't in everybody's face. You know, it's not some simple answer. You said so yourself. It's a theological philosophy. It's in philosophy. It's a huge topic to explore. What is truth? And for you to say that I never pursued it is bullshit, because if I didn't pursue truth and trying to understand how I see the world, I would still be embedded in that damaging, toxic religion, because me searching for truth is what got me out of religion, because I found that the Bible is not truth. God is not truth. The God of the Bible is not truth for me. Do I still know what truth is? No, I'm not saying that atheism is truth. It's certainly not. I believe that atheism is a more rational, reasonable stance to hold, or a skeptic, or an agnostic, or even a deist, but a theist, not so much.
And I would just point out, that's why you've never found God, is because you've never pursued truth, and God is truth. Jesus says, I am the truth. I am the way.
Has it ever occurred to you that Jesus is not the truth? Jesus is not the way?
So, MrRepzion, I promise you this. If you set out today, in your heart, honestly to follow truth, wherever it leads you, you're going to come and meet Jesus Christ, because he is the embodiment of truth here on earth. Truth became a person and lived among us. And we can know truth by understanding the life of Jesus Christ. But ultimately, that's where I've come to my conclusion in my pursuit. I would just have you, MrRepzion, start your own. Start right where you're at today, wherever the truth may lead you. Because if you seek, you shall find. If you knock, it shall be opened for you.
All right, Mario. I have a challenge for you. You want me to keep seeking truth? I have been. In fact, I'm to the point in my life where if new evidence comes down from a scientific perspective or standpoint and says, hey, we have evidence for a divine creator or some sort of intelligent being that created the world, I'd believe it. I would believe it. I'd believe an intelligent designer again. But so far, science has not proved that. But here's my challenge for you, Mario. Can you explain to me why I and the rest of my audience of 300,000 people should look to Jesus as the truth? Why should we look to Jesus as the truth. And here's my challenge, though. You cannot use the Bible as a source. You cannot quote scripture at all. So don't, what you've done in the parts of this video, you've mentioned like 5 different Bible verses. No, don't do that. Don't mention the Bible at all. And explain to me through a video response, and I will watch it, believe me, why your God, even the biblical God, Jesus, the biblical Jesus, is the truth. Why is he the truth versus all the other religions who have iconic deity figures, and other religions claim that their God is the truth? So how do you, Mario, differentiate between all these different religions that say, we are the truth, we are the truth, we are the truth? Explain it to me, and don't use the Bible. And believe me, if you can come up with a sustainable reason as to why I should look to Jesus as being the truth without using the Bible as a source, I will listen to you. I will watch your video. You can count on that. My name is Daniel Sulzbach, also known as MrRepzion. Thank you for watching my video. Peace the rep out, and have a fantastic Sunday.